What is up, you guys? What is up? I'm just gonna make sure that we are live. If you're watching the replay, welcome to the replay. So glad you're here. Let me know below, either hashtag replay or let me know where you're watching from. If you hop on live, I just want to make sure it's going. Here we are, Rooted Vision Masterclass. I'm super excited to dive in. If you are new to my world, welcome. If you are returning to my world, welcome back. I'm Alexandra Cavucci, and I'm so excited to dive into this today because I think it's actually really, really important. And I think a lot of us kind of go astray when we're talking about vision, or I think we get led astray. And so I'm super pumped to dive into this today. If you're watching live, if you're hopping on live, let me know below that you're here. Give me a like, give me a heart, give me a little, I don't know, let me know where you're watching from. Give me an emoji, something, because this is called the Rooted Vision Masterclass. And so I would also love to be rooted and connected with you as much as possible throughout this. I've got a couple of notes here I'm going to be checking out probably off and on, but yeah, I'm excited to dive in. If you know somebody who would benefit from this, feel free to tag them below. And if you think that your audience would benefit from this, feel free to share it with your audience. The more people it can reach, the better. And yeah, we'll dive in. I am super excited to share something new and awesome with you at the end. So wait till the end. I'm going to be sharing a new way to work with me, and as well as a way to get in for free. So stay tuned till the end. I'll be sharing all of that information. Yeah, good to go? Give me a heart, give me a like. If you're here, pulse check. Awesome, good to go. So a little overview of what we're going to talk about today. First, I want to share with you why I want to talk about having a rooted vision, what that even means, why it's important. I want to talk about why it so happens that sometimes we have a big vision, or we're told to create a big vision and it just doesn't work. We just kind of end up in the same spot. And then I want to talk about the 3 levels of a healthy, robust vision and how to really know which one you need to be focusing on right now. And then I want to talk about a couple of things to really, really craft a powerful vision moving forward. And then I'll share with you, what's up, Alice? Good to see you. And then I'll share with you a new way to work with me. And hopefully you guys, if you've been to any of my lives before, you know that I like to offer a ton of value. So I really want you guys walking away from this with a ton of value, a ton of information, and just a really grounded sense of what to do next, and a really grounded sense of how to create a vision that actually works for you. So I'll dive in by, what's up, Rachel? I'll dive in by sharing a little bit of why I wanted to even do this masterclass in the first place. So within the last 2 years of my life, I basically kind of ripped away my vision that I had set for my life, right? I ended a 7-year relationship. I ended an engagement. I'm no longer a daily dog mom. I basically ripped everything down. I thought I was kind of moving towards this one particular path. And I found myself last year, at the end of last year, kind of in a vision crisis, because I realized I'd ripped everything away. And this is probably an intense experience that you may or may not be going through, but it was my experience where I ripped everything away, and I realized that I was kind of in a vision crisis. I couldn't dream big. I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to create a vision that was going to work. I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to go bigger, right? But I was not in a place where I could hold it. I wasn't in a place where I could actually have the capacity to move towards a lot of things. And so I learned over the last year that what we're often told about creating a vision, I don't know about you, but for me, I've often been told, like, build a big vision, just like the biggest vision that you can build, right? And a lot of people that I've met have kind of created this vision of, like, I want to be a millionaire, or whatever it is, something really, really gigantic. And I found myself in this situation where I couldn't even hold my next step. I had no idea how to create a vision that was actually going to move me forward if it wasn't this big vision. And I also had no idea, like, what was wrong with me, right, at the time. Because I was doing everything that I'd been told to do years prior. I was doing everything that I was I was informed I should be doing, and it wasn't working. I just didn't really give a shit, to be honest. And it was really, really hard. And I think that that's a really, really important conversation, because I feel like we're often told one way to have a vision, but what I learned in the last year completely catapulted me forward. And so I want to share a little bit of that with you here. So that's why I created this masterclass. One of the biggest things that I learned last year, or realized in the last year, is that for your vision to be effective, and this is probably right downable, for your vision to be effective, your nervous system has to be on board. For your vision to be effective, your nervous system has to be on board. And what I mean by that is this: your body has to be in alignment with it. We often create these things just from our brain, right? Like, wouldn't it be nice if we had $1 million? Wouldn't it be nice if we lived in, like in a mansion on the beach? Whatever it is, right? We tend to operate from our brains. And that's great. There's a place for that. There's a time for that. I'm going to be diving into like the 3 levels of vision. But one of the most important things, and one of the things to orient around to really craft a rooted vision, is in order for your vision to be effective, in order for your vision to be effective, your nervous system has to be on board. Otherwise, you're kind of just mentally crafting this fun image that actually isn't connected to you. What's up, Chelsea? So, before I dive in a little deeper, let me know, pulse check, let me know that you're here. Give me a comment. Also, let me know if you have any questions while we're on this. Feel free to just pop some questions below, and I'll dive into those as well. So I want to talk about what a vision is, what it's meant to do. And I want to talk about this because we tend to we're just told, like, create a big vision and go from there. But I want to really talk about why a vision is important. And the reason I want to talk about this is because it's actually going to help you reorient around what is your correct rooted vision for whatever, any given time, right? And one of the biggest things that I've noticed is that we get lost when we can't root down. We kind of fly away when we can't anchor in. We kind of go all over the place in our mission when we can't actually create some connectivity with what it is we're doing, why we're here, where we want to go, what we're moving forward on. And so I've noticed that there's this kind of mystery around, why do I even have a big vision? We kind of do it. We create a vision, and then a lot of the times it just fizzles out, or we just don't move forward with it, or it just becomes this like over there thing. So I want to talk about what a vision is actually meant for. What does it do for us, and why do we actually do this in the first place? Because this is actually going to give you a really good anchoring into why you need a vision and how to reorient when you get lost. What's up, Claire? How to know what's reasonable for 3 to 12 months and the fear of dreaming too small. Oof, Claire coming in hot with the questions. I love it. So that's actually a really, really good question. And I'm going to talk about that in the 3 levels of creating a really rooted vision. And the 3 levels themselves may answer this question, but we'll dive into that. So why do we even have a vision? What's the point of a vision? A vision is meant to provide a reality or a life or a goal or something expanded beyond us that invites us into our potential while also shining a light on the things that may stand in our way, right? So our vision is meant to provide a reality, a blueprint of a reality or a life or a goal or something that expands us into our potential. It is meant to make us want to reach our potential. We all know this phrase, right? Reaching our potential. The vision is the thing that makes us want to reach, right? Because so often we like create a big vision. We also hear reach your potential. The vision, when rooted in our nervous system, when crafted meticulously and when crafted with intention and care and anchoring, is the thing that makes us want to reach. It's the thing that makes us choose to reach, right? And so it is the link between beautiful life where we are, it is the arm that reaches over, right? Or the thing that makes us reach our arm over, move forward into our potential. And that's really, really, really important to note, because if it's not making you want to reach, it's not doing its job, right? If it's not making you actually want to reach forward, if it's not actually activating you and making you excited enough to reach forward, it's not doing its job, which is a great indicator that you're probably not deeply connected, right? And I see this a lot, where a lot of people create a vision in their head and it's not rooted in their body. And so it's not really theirs. I kind of have this belief that a vision's not truly ours unless it's rooted in our body, unless it's activating our body, both the things that excite us and the things that scare us. And if a vision's not really yours, if it's not really activated in your body, if it's not really rooted in your body, it's someone else's. It's what you think you're supposed to do. It's who you think you're supposed to be. It's what society has told you is right. It's what you think will make you feel better. It's what you think will make you get away from all of these shadows that you don't want to look at, right? So if you're creating a vision, that's not rooted in your body and that doesn't activate you, again, both for excitement and for shadows that arise, then it's not really your vision. It's someone else's. It's society's, it's a belief systems, it's something else that's making you think that you have to do it this way. And that's often when we just have it in our head, right? Like if you're like, I want a $500,000 business. That sounds really good. That's really, really awesome. Can you feel that? Can you feel what it would actually be like to actually have a $500,000 a year business? Can you feel like what it would actually be like to actually show up to that business? Right? And so a vision is meant to be rooted in our bodies to activate us. So that's the second reason that we have a vision. The first reason is because it's the thing that makes us reach, right? Reaching our potential, it's the thing that makes us reach. The second reason is because it's meant to activate us, both for better and for seemingly worse, for what doesn't feel good, right? For our shadows. Thanks for the hearts, thanks for the likes. I always feel like we're more connected when I see some engagement or some hearts or some likes. I'm like, ooh, finger on the pulse, okay. So your vision's really yours when it's activating you. And it tends to activate us when it's rooted in our body, right? Third thing, and this is all the reason that we have a vision. This is all the reason that we want a vision. This is all the reason that we're creating a vision in the first place, because this information is going to allow you to reorient whenever you feel like you have nothing compelling you forward. This section right here is going to remind you to have this checkpoint of like, is it doing all of these things? A vision is meant, number 3, a vision is meant to compel us to face our fears. It's meant to compel us to face our fears. It's meant to be something that makes facing our fears worth it. It's meant to be something that makes facing our fears worth it. And that is so important because that's a visceral experience, right? That's a visceral experience. When we are sitting around being like, I want an $800,000 a year business, I want to live on a yacht, blah, 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 whatever it is, that's cool. That's awesome. That's great. I love that. I love that for you. And if you can't feel it, if it's not visceral enough to make you move today, or to make you move ASAP, or to make you move in the direction of moving, if it's not visceral enough to make you move, if it's not compelling enough to be worthy of facing your fears, you're probably disconnected from it. You're probably not fully connected from it. You're probably kind of swimming around in your imagination, but there's nothing that's actually a driving life force behind what you're here to do. There's nothing that's actually a driving life force behind moving you forward. The thing that we want to make sure that we do, especially if you're growing a business, you're here to serve, you're leading, you're in a leadership role, you're here to reach your potential, you're here to change the world. The one thing that we want to make sure of is that you have momentum, right? And so if your vision is massive, but it actually doesn't create any momentum, your vision doesn't matter. In the sense of, sorry, I got a call. Your vision doesn't actually matter in the sense of what it's designed to do, right? It matters, you matter, your thoughts matter, everything that you are and have matters. And in terms of what it's designed to do, your vision is not doing what it's designed to do if it is not compelling you to face your fears. So number 3 reason that we want to have a vision is tool for us and how to utilize it is meant to compel us to face our fears. It is meant to be something that makes facing our fears worthy. You feel me? Feel me on that? Cool. And then 4, there's 2 more in this little category. 4, having a vision is the process of creating a deeper relationship with ourselves. And our results are based largely on that. Awesome, Alice. Yeah, Charcy, so scary, so necessary. Having a vision is a process of creating a deeper relationship with ourselves. And all of our results are largely based on that. Right? So again, I want to swing back up to like, if you are not activated by your vision, if it is not a somatic experience for you, even a little bit, it might be someone else's. It might be society's vision. It might be what you think you're supposed to do. It might be whatever. Right? So number 4, you're having a vision is a process of creating a deeper relationship with yourself. And that is largely what our results are based on. If we are disconnected from ourselves, we will ultimately be disconnected from our work, from our clients, from our mission. And the vision is such a massive glue that holds this together. And it is a way to explore yourself, where you are now, where you want to go, where you need to start, what you have to work with. Our vision is at an access point to a deeper relationship with ourselves. And that is largely what our results are based off of. Right? Because we can white knuckle it through. We can white knuckle our way to success. What's up, Heather? We can white knuckle our way to success. But ultimately, we're going to have to come face to face with ourselves. We'll either burn out or we'll crumble or whatever it is, right? And so number 4, reason for having a really, really powerful vision and rooted vision is it's a process of creating a deeper relationship with ourselves. And all of our results are based on that. And then number 5, maybe one of my favorites. And for anybody just joining, we're chatting about what a vision is actually meant to do and why. So that you can reorient around it when you lose your way, because we're all going to lose our way, right? We're all going to feel like we lost our way. We're all going to feel disconnected at some point. Connection is a practice. So number 5, what a vision is, what it does for us, why we need it. A rooted vision, and then I'm going to give you the definition of a rooted vision after this. But a rooted vision is there to enliven the parts of our personality that either compel us into action, as I've spoken about, or that reveal the shadow aspects of our personality that are creating the blocks. That one always excites me because when I finally learned that, I realized that my vision was meant to activate me, and not just activate me, excite me, but activate the triggers, activate the fears, activate, what's up, Lindsay? Activate the shadows, right? It's shining a light on all the things. It's shining a light on all the things that we don't necessarily want to see, right? So Alice, I'll say that again. It's to enliven the parts of your personality that either compel you into action, right, which I mentioned before, or that reveal the shadow aspects of your personality that are here as blocks or patterns meant to hold you back. Your vision is here to enliven parts of your personality that either compel you into action. I really like this one, I don't know why. Or that reveal the shadow aspects of your personality that are here as blocks or patterns meant to hold you back. And the reason that is so important is because when you start to look at your vision as this thing, yeah, Lindsay, I think a lot of people get stuck here. When you start to use your vision as it's meant to be used, totally stuck in shadows. I think there's a lot of shadow material that we tend not to take a look at unless we choose to take a look at it, right? When we actually use a vision as what it's meant to be used for, we start to build a relationship with ourselves and recognize like what's going to work for me and what's not going to work for me. When we just like create a vision that sounds really good, but we're not using it to either compel us into action, to create a deeper relationship with ourselves, or to reveal the shadow aspects of our personality that are going to get in the way, then our vision's not actually serving its purpose. It's just like fun brain food, right? But a vision has a life force to it. It has depth to it. It fuels so much of what we're here to do, right? Like, I don't know about you guys, but have you ever created a big vision, like a really big vision, and then you felt like it flatlined? You felt like a few months in or a year in, you're like, I never fucking did that thing. I never even did that thing. Or I'm still in the same place, or whatever it is. Have you guys ever done that? Give me a heart, give me a like, emoji, whatever. Yeah, totally, Heather. So the reason that we want to know what a vision actually is here to do is because it allows, Alice says, I found shadow work is the most important part of being able to embody any of this. Oh, absolutely. Shadow integration, shadow work, shadow integration, absolutely where it's at. It has probably been the most important work I've ever done in my business, in my life, in myself. I spent all last year working with a shadow integration mentor and 12 months, and I feel more connected, more excited, more steady than ever before, more rooted, more grounded. So when we actually know how to utilize our vision for what it's meant to be for, we can orient around it. We can work with it. It becomes a part of our process. It becomes a part of our relationship instead of just being like, I have $1 million business. I live in a house on the beach. If that activates you, cool. My guess is that somebody who's making $750,000 a year already and like somatically is like connected to that is probably more activated by $1 million a year business, right? Because they can feel that pull that's just enough to stretch them. Whereas if it's just in your brain, if it's just like, that would be nice, it's not activating you. It's not propelling you forward. It's not compelling you forward. And it's not shining a light on all the shadow aspects of your personality that are going to try to hold you back. So the definition of a rooted vision. You guys ready? Lindsay, so painful. Oh my God, so painful. So disorienting. It's the best. All right, you guys ready? Definition of a rooted vision. A vision that is big enough to stretch you. A vision that is big enough to stretch you while remaining small enough to keep you connected to yourselves and to keep your nervous system out of fight or flight. I'm going to say that again. Oh, Claire, I'm so glad you like it. A rooted vision is a vision that is big enough to stretch you while remaining small enough to keep you connected to yourself and to keep your nervous system out of fight or flight. Because here's what I want to say. If you have, we'll just use the $1 million vision, right? Because it's probably, awesome, Jeff, what's up? It's probably easy to just stay with that. Let's say, hi, Carrie, I'm so glad. Let's say that you are like, you know, not near $1 million a year, $100,000 a month, whatever. You can say it in your head. That's really, really nice, right? That's really, really cool. That's really, really nice. Charzy coming in with the notes. I knew it. That's really, really nice. But if we actually go a little deeper, we'll find that, and I'll talk about this in a little bit, when our vision is too big for us to be connected to ourselves and rooted in ourselves, it actually has the potential to activate our fight or flight unconsciously, right? It actually has the potential to activate our stress systems and our overwhelm and our how the fuck am I going to do this, right? And all of those things. We want that to some degree where it's like your shadows arise, but we don't want it to the degree to which it's debilitating. We don't want to overwhelm our nervous systems to the degree to which we don't move forward. We don't want to overwhelm our nervous systems to the degree to which we just sit on it for another year and another year and another year and another year, right? Also, if you're sitting on it year after year after year, check in. Is it really your vision? Or is it what you think would be nice? To like get love or get approval or whatever. So again, a rooted vision is a vision that's big enough to stretch you while remaining small enough to keep you connected to yourself and to keep your nervous system out of fight or flight. And again, this is important because if it doesn't feel attainable, if it doesn't feel like it stretches us, like it actually stretches us, then it's not really doing what it's meant to do. Then it's just a pretty picture in our head, right? Okay, so pulse check. Give me a heart or a like or an emoji or whatever. I'm going to dive into quickly some of the myths around creating a vision. And then I want to dive into the 3 levels of a vision that are necessary for it to be really full, functional, and robust. And then I'm going to talk about how you can start creating a really powerful vision that actually compels you forward. And then I'm going to be sharing with you a new way to work with me and a chance to get into that container for free. I feel like we still have a lot to cover. This is exciting, but I also want to be mindful of the time for me and for you guys. So some of the biggest myths about creating a vision is that it has to be big and massive. You need to have all the details, and that it has to just feel good all the time, right? It doesn't have to be big and massive at all, actually. It has to be compelling. It doesn't have to be big and massive. Because the thing is, to anything that moves us towards our bigness, towards our expansion, is momentum, right? And momentum is contagious. Momentum begets momentum. And so you could start with like rolling a little pebble down the hill. And from there, you will want to roll a bigger rock down the hill. And from there, you'll want to roll a bigger rock, or it's going to catch rocks. I don't know how this works, but momentum begets momentum, right? And so your vision doesn't have to be huge. It just needs to be compelling. You don't need to have all the details. You just need to be connected and rooted. You just need to be connected and rooted. And willing to move. And compelled to move. And it doesn't have to feel good all the time. Again, we want to shine a light on the shadow aspects of our personality that are going to try to fuck things up, so to speak, right? Awesome. So, the 3 levels of vision that are necessary to really create a full, functional, robust vision. And let me know if you have any questions. And Claire, this might answer your question. Let me just go up and snag your question again. How to know what's reasonable for 3 or 12 months and the fear of dreaming too small. So the 3 levels of creating a really full, functional, robust, rooted vision. We've got the highest level here. This is number 1. The highest level is the organizing idea or principle. I learned this concept from my former mentor who adopted it from Nietzsche, who is a philosopher. The organizing idea or principle, which is essentially this. It is the large scale things that we organize our lives around. And I'll give you some examples. It is the large scale things that we organize our lives around. It's a little bit more conceptual. It's what we stand for at a larger level. It's hard to actually nail down the details because the details are ever changing when it comes to our organizing ideas or our organizing principles, right? These are like our orienting concepts that we want to live by. So this first level of a really rooted vision is the organizing idea or principle, or the orienting idea. And again, this is the large scale things that we organize our lives around. So for example, I have a one of my personal ones is I want to live before I die. That's going to look totally different at any given point of my life. The definition of living is going to change, right? What it means to feel alive before I die is going to change. What it challenges me to do is going to change, but the principle stays the same. I want to live before I die, right? Some other ones that might be really, really powerful for you are like prioritizing self-expression and creativity, right? Or relationships and community above all else, right? So these are things that we organize around that, I'm going to go back down to the comments. These are things that we organize around that kind of orient us to something larger, to something bigger, to something that has meaning, so that at the end of our lives, we feel like we lived in alignment with our core vision for the world. What up, Nikki? So good to see you, girl. Right? So the first level of creating a really full, functional, and robust vision, and a rooted vision. And I want to say, as we go through this, these are not in order. They're not, I'm organizing it, but what's going to work is what's going to work for you. And I'll talk about that in a second. So the 3 levels of really creating a rooted, robust, functional, and full vision. Organizing idea, something that we orient our lives around. So these are bigger conceptual things. I want to live before I die. Relationships and community above all else, right? Like these are the things that kind of like steers our ship in life. We want to move towards it as we're going. And we can tell when something's off when like we get stuck for a few years and we realize like, whoa, I haven't been living or whatever. This is like a mass level of, no, so Claire, you don't need to have one organizing idea. As many as you feel like you want to adopt to steer the whole of your life. Right? So like, I don't know if I can pull up fast enough my own process that I've taken myself through, but one of mine is to live before I die. Another one of mine is always living in alignment with my truth, or what I call running in the woods. Charcy, who's on this, kind of coined that term for me when I was leaving my relationship of 7 or 8 years, and I was going to get married. You know, she coined this term for me of like, you're leaving the house, the structure of the safe house, and you're running in the woods. And it's basically like an image for my truth. And so another one of mine is like always be running in my woods. And that's going to look different at different times, right? Like sometimes there's going to be people there with me. Sometimes I need to go it alone. Sometimes that's going to mean leaving a relationship. Sometimes that's going to mean getting into a relationship. Sometimes that's going to mean taking a bigger, buying a one-way ticket. Whatever running in my woods means to me at the time, that's one of my organizing principles, organizing ideas. Is like, I want to live before I die. I want to run in the woods. I want to make sure my life is built around running in the woods, right? Or living in alignment with my truth, however you want to say it. So you can have as many as you want. It's really paring down what's the most meaningful thing to me in this lifetime, right? And that can be multiple things. And when you weigh those out, you may find that some kind of like glob together. You may find that some are like maybe a step down, whatever. But two of mine that I orient around, that I always check in with myself to make like really big life decisions or to make scary decisions or whatever is this me running in my woods? And living in alignment with my truth? And this can happen on a little scale, happen on a big scale. And will this contribute to me feeling like I'm living before I die, right? And that may be like taking the risk, or like, again, buying the ticket, or like being present at dinner, right? Or saying yes to staying out late one night when I typically like to go to bed at like 9:30, right? Like saying yes to like, I don't know, staying out late and getting drunk with my friends if the opportunity arises, right? It's like, I want to live before I die. And knowing that allows me to work with my definition, allows me to work with what it means to me, right? So we've got the organizing idea or principle. That's the first level, or one of the levels. The next level. You guys with me? Macro visions. So we've got organizing principles, we've got macro visions. This is what is pretty much known as our big visions, right? Like this is what we kind of hear a lot of the time when they say like, create a big vision, go after a big vision, do the big vision. This is the aspect of creating a compelling vision that is a larger idea of what our lives might look like, right? And we may not have all the details, but it's a larger idea of what our lives might look like. It can change over time, but it's kind of like we have a very big, vast idea of our robust, big lives. Now, one thing I really want to note is that we're not all always ready to craft this. Some people do really, really, really well with big visions, and some people get overwhelmed. That's okay. It's totally okay. You don't actually need all of these in place. Think of these like an ecosystem in an orbit, okay? Think of these like an ecosystem in an orbit. You don't need them all. This isn't like, I have this, and I have this, and I have this, I'm good to go, right? It's like they're moving, they're living. This is like a living, breathing ecosystem of you internally, right? And so, for example, last year, when I had kind of come to the end of my really long relationship and I had no vision anymore, and I had ended another really, really important relationship to me, and I had ended another relationship, I was kind of stripped bare. And I didn't actually have the capacity to hold a big vision. I just didn't, right? I was face to face. I was, again, in a vision crisis around, I was just about to be a wife, and I was going to buy a house, and I was going to do this, and I was going to do that. And I basically had like my next 10 years or whatever kind of visioned out. Like, cool, this is where I know I'm going. I'm going on this track. When I kind of ran in my woods, right? And like turned the car this way and realized like, whoa, I gotta go run in my own woods. I couldn't access a macro vision. I just couldn't. I was spent. My body was spent. My nervous system was spent. I was emotionally exhausted, and I was just tired, to be honest. And so sometimes our big vision doesn't land because we actually don't have the emotional capacity or the nervous system capacity, right? And so every time I would think of a big vision, I would get really tired, or every time I would think of a big vision, I didn't have the capacity. I didn't have the capability. And part of the reason I started really learning about how to create a vision that works for me is because I was like, I'm doing what they're telling me to do, I'm creating a big vision, I'm mapping out how much it's going to cost, whatever it is, but it's not actually working for me. It's not doing anything for me, right? Like I'm still just feeling like a blob and I'm exhausted and I don't know how to pick myself out of this and I want momentum, but I realized momentum doesn't have to look like this, right? I knew it was more important to gain momentum than it was to keep this big vision and force myself into it. Nikki says, I can totally relate. I love this term of running in the woods. Yeah, we can all thank Charcy for that because she coined it in a conversation we were having when I was ending my very, very long-term relationship and engagement. Heather, you relate to that too. Probably not the ending engagement, probably the part I said before that. Cool. So the macro vision is like your big vision, right? It is what kind of incorporates our dream lives, right? And it can work with the organizing idea. It can be like, what does it feel like to live before I die? And we might start piecing together things. Oh, I really want to like I have a personal thing where I want to ride a road bike across Ireland or a small country at some point, right? Like that's part of my big vision is that's something that I really want to have that experience of. I really like road bikes. I really like Ireland. And so we can start to piece together our bigger vision, right? Some people operate wonderfully with a big vision. Some people totally works for them. They just want to go, but not for everybody. Some people get really overwhelmed. Some people start to get really, really disconnected. Some high achievers might feel like it's too much pressure, right? Have you guys ever felt like you want to accomplish something, but it's too overwhelming, too much pressure, too big, too much, too loud, right? Like it is overwhelming for the nervous system. And sometimes that happens on an unconscious level where we're kind of just like, I'm not doing it, right? So organizing idea, organizing principles to your life, macro visions, and then we have micro visions. And these are visions that feed into the macro vision, and the macro vision feeds into the organizing idea, and the organizing idea feeds into both of them, right? So again, this is like an orbit. This is like an ecosystem. Micro visions feel sometimes more compelling and accessible to people and are clues towards a macro vision. Micro visions allow us to gain momentum. And this is especially for anybody who's like recently been really, really stressed. Maybe anybody who's gone through 2020, anybody who's recently gone through something difficult, destabilizing, really challenging, or burnout or anything like that. Micro visions can be really, really helpful. Or your nervous system might just work better on micro visions. I work a little bit better on micro visions. And honestly, like they really got me back into momentum last year after I hit a completely emotional low. So a micro vision essentially moves us towards our macro vision and our organizing principle, but on a small scale. And so I'll give you an example of a micro vision. Let's say your big vision, as big as you can get, is like, I want to launch a new program, right? Like, let's say that's as big as you can get. And it's like, it's overwhelming. Your micro vision might be, I see myself sitting down once this week to just write about the things that are important to me, right? That might be the micro vision that leads towards that bigger vision, that leads towards one of your principles is like, self-expression or whatever. Your micro vision might be, I had a micro vision when I had taken a however long hiatus from creating and from work this past year in maybe April. Before I launched a group program with a friend of mine, I took a hiatus, and one of my micro visions was like, every day I'm going to write a poem and a post. I write poetry, and I was feeling disconnected from my work. And so I wanted to feel connected, right? So every day I was like, can I see myself writing a post every day? I didn't have to post it. I didn't have to do anything with it. I just had to sit and write it. That's it. That was as big as I got, right? But that led to so much. That led to like probably the stuff we're talking about right now, probably the stuff that I'm gonna share at the end of this, probably my content for the last few months, right? It was a micro vision. It was little enough that I knew I could achieve it. I knew I could do it, and it would move me forward. Nikki says, for me, I was focusing on my big vision messed up my mindset, and I wasn't able to focus on the now. I didn't know how to get from point A to point D. Haha, focusing on the now has changed the game. Totally, Nikki, right? Totally. So, a micro vision, basically, or a micro vision might be like, I really want to focus on just business this year. Like I really want to put most of my energy into business this year. Instead of being like, I want to focus on my relationships, and I want to focus on my health, and I want to focus on my life, and I want to focus on my this, whatever. A micro vision might be like, cool, I want to focus on all that stuff, but like my main intention and my main energy is on work this year, right? So let me recap that really quickly. The 3 levels of creating a robust vision, of creating a rooted vision, are the organizing principles or ideas, right? This is kind of like what we gear our life towards. Our macro visions, this is our big vision. This is kind of who we want to be and what we see our lives like, right? Like I know in my big vision, I see myself always being fit and always being flexible and always being capable in my body. I know that I see myself being very financially successful. I know that I see myself in really, really amazing, deep, committed relationships and long-standing relationships. I know that I see myself writing a book. I know that I see myself traveling a lot, right? Like, so I see a big vision, and it may not compel me. It may not be what's meant to compel me. That may be also something that I'm kind of organizing towards, right? And then micro visions are smaller subsets of like, do I want to focus on this right now? Like, where does my energy want to go? Or what is going to compel me forward even just a little bit, right? Are you guys with me? Micro visions infuse deep power into what then becomes our big vision, what our macro vision, what then becomes our life, really. So pulse check. How are you guys doing? Are you with me? Feeling good? So a couple of little points I made. I don't actually know if they have anything to do with anything, but I made a couple little points that I want to share with you. When we're speaking about a rooted vision and a connected vision, if your shadows don't come up at any point, you may not be connected, right? And this is going back to if you're just... What's up, Krista? If you're just mentally like, I see myself with $1 million business and I see myself living on the beach or whatever, but it's not actually compelling you forward. It's not actually driving you to face your fears, right? If your vision doesn't bring anything up in you that's like, ooh, fuck, oof, then, or any shadows that you realize might be like, you can't really do that. Or that might be like, you don't know what you're doing. Or like, you're dumb. You know, like when our shadows come up, you may not actually be connected as you think. So again, I want to bring us back to our vision is created, or visions are utilized to enliven the parts of our personality that compel us into action, or that reveal the shadow aspects of ourselves that are here to serve, that are going to create blocks and patterns meant to hold you back, right? So you can tell when you're really connected to your vision, when you can both feel this compelling urge to move forward, as well as the chitter chatter and the revealing of shadow parts of your personality that are actually going to put on the brakes. And the reason that we want to know that, the reason that we want our shadows to come up, is because we know that something in us is being activated. Your vision is meant to activate you for better and for worse, right? You will have a rooted, connected vision when you're activated. Because we can't really work with our shadow aspects. We can't do any shadow integration until they're activated, right? Or we can do it best when activated. And we're not compelled to do anything if we're not activated in like an exciting way, right? We just kind of sit and stay and wait, right? Yeah, Lindsay, I hear you. You're frozen lately. I feel that. I was there for a long, long time. And so one of the biggest questions to ask yourself, and then after this, I'm going to talk about how you can start crafting a really powerful vision. I'm going to share with you a new way to work with me and a way to enter that container for free. So stay tuned for that. But one of the questions to really deeply ask yourself in order to see if you are connected, can I actually see and feel myself doing this, being this, existing in this? Can I actually see and feel it? Right? Because remember, as I said earlier, what did I say earlier? For your vision to be effective, your nervous system has to be on board. For your vision to be effective, your nervous system has to be on board. Right? We want to activate it. We want your body, we want it to be a body-based vision. We want it to compel you into action or show you exactly what fears are holding you back. Or show you exactly what shadow aspects are holding you back. Yay? So how can you start creating a really, really powerful vision? First of all, I would say to go back in this training. If you took notes, awesome. If you didn't take notes, awesome. Watch it again. It's going to be available. And see what pings you the most. See what pings you the most. Oh, Claire, I want to respond to what you said. How to deal with... Hold on, let me just read it again. How to know what's reasonable for 3 to 12 months. So number one, I would say, what does reasonable mean? What does reasonable mean? Does reasonable mean realistic? Does reasonable mean not to burn out? Does reasonable mean that it can be available to you? I would first say, what does reasonable mean? And then the fear of dreaming too small. I would ask you, what is the fear around dreaming too small? What are you afraid will happen if you dream too small? That actually may be some shadow aspect of yourself kind of popping in, right? So anywhere that there's like this like, I don't want to do it this way in case of this. There might be something around there, right? Because what we really want is like a sovereign decision. In, like, for example, last year I was like, I need to go small. I need to. That's what's going to work, right? To ultimately get me here. And so I would say, what is the fear around dreaming too small? And I would explore that, certainly. Because I have a feeling there's probably a lot of material there to look at that might lead to some pretty rad stuff for you. Yeah. I would also say, if you dream too small, what happens? If you dream too small, what happens? Do you never reach your potential? Do you get stuck, right? Explore those things. And Claire, let me know if that answers the question. And also feel free to message me privately if you want to go a little deeper on that. Casey, yes, it's safe to embody this. It's safe to express in this way. I love this. Awesome. So take a look at this training. What pings you? Right? What pings you? Start there. Again, I want you to recognize that so much of this is body-based, and the more rooted we are, the more connected we are with ourselves, the more, I believe, the more sustainable success we'll have, the more connected we are with ourselves. And so how to start really creating a powerful vision, go back in this training and see what pinged you. See what was like, ooh, yeah, I felt that, right? Not like that was smart information, right? Because we know the difference. We don't often sit and listen to a training and go like, that was smart information, right? We're like, ooh, yeah, I felt that. I felt that. And we even say it like, I felt that, right? So operate from your body. See what landed for you in this and start there, right? Really land there. Let it be there. Figure out which one of the three levels of vision calls you first, right? Feel into which one calls you first and start exploring. Just start feeling into it. Again, a vision, a powerful vision, and is a relationship with yourself. And a powerful vision is meant to deepen your relationship with yourself, which is ultimately where your results come from, right? So many pings, now I've reached a level of success that was a big vision for me. How do I move even further and create more? Awesome, Lindsay, I love that. Number 3, know what you need to focus on, when, why, and how. And in order to know what you need to focus on, when, why, and how, follow your body's messaging. Be brutally honest with yourself. I can't handle that. I can't hold that. That's too big for me. And you may feel things come up like, yeah, but the industry says, or like, yeah, but we're supposed to, or whatever. I got really Italian. What's up, Shannon? So feel into that. What's important to you now, right? Because doing this deeper vision stuff is a very personal process. And again, it is designed to deepen your relationship with yourself, which is ultimately where all of your results come from. Your results come from you. You guys like that one? Your results come from you. And so if we're not using a vision to deepen our relationship to ourselves, it's not our vision. It's society's vision. It's a vision created so that to offset our fears. It's a vision created because people are gonna be happy. It's a vision created because we want to save ourselves instead of reach our potential. Right? Remember, reach our vision. The use of our vision is so that we can reach for our potential. If we want to reach our potential, we have to reach. And it should compel us to reach. And if you hopped on late and you missed all of that, some of the nuggets I just said over again, check out the beginning of this training. Number 4, start from where you are. Start from where you actually are, right? This was really, and this can be really, really humbling. This can be really, really humbling. So again, last year when I was like emotionally just like every emotional city in me had been destroyed. I was just like a pile of rubble, right? I had no energy to hold a lot. I had to be really, really humble and be like, yeah, I have to start small. And it's going to make me feel like I'm falling behind, and it's going to make me feel this, and it's going to make me feel that, right? But if you can be brutally honest with yourself and deeply humble with your own process, for yourself, to yourself, with yourself, you can start where you are and actually make so much more, create so much more momentum than if you just fight yourself to try to fit into something that you're not ready for, right? And then I just have create with what you have and be where you be at, right? So lean into this. Lean into this training. I want to share a new way to work with me, but before that, lean into this training. Lean into this. See what pinged you and move with it. So your vision has to suit you. It's here for you. It has to be compelling to you. It has to drive you. It's a relationship with you, right? And that's the most important thing, because I truly believe that our results come from us. And I truly, truly believe the more connected we can be with ourselves, the more connected we can be with our business, the more connected we can be with our mission, the more connected we can be with our services and our systems and structures, the more sustainably successful we will be, right? Because disconnect ravishes things, right? Disconnect ravishes things. So lean in, see what landed for you. I want you to know I'm going to be running a 4-week little baby group course starting on January 18th called Root. And it's all about rooting in as we move into the new year. I spent a lot of time last year really having to root into myself, root into my business, root into my systems, root into my structures, be radically honest, humble myself, look at my shadows. And I'm going to be now taking everything that I learned and really helping you root in, because again, I truly believe the more connected we are to ourselves, our leadership, our businesses, et cetera, even our shadows, the more sustainably successful we will be, because we will know how to reorient, we will know how to anchor, we will know how to reroute, and we'll know how to be aligned and grounded, right? So the details, 4-week program starting January 18th to help you walk into this year connected, grounded, and rooted in yourself, in your vision, in your mission, in your systems, and in yourself. We're going to be covering that over 4 weeks. It's going to be 1 live training a week in a Facebook group where we're going to be hanging and chilling, and then 1 coaching call a week where I basically roll up my sleeves and we get down and dirty in the work, and we work with you, and we push you, and we root you in, we anchor you in, we ask the hard questions, we explore the shadows. So it's going to be a live training every week, a coaching call every week, and we're going to have a Facebook group where we all hang out. This is probably the lowest investment to work with me right now. It's going to be an investment of $397. And if you share this video and tag me, or share something that you learned from this video and tag me, I will put your name in a hat and I will pull out and choose someone to be in the container for free on me. It's really, really important to me. Honestly, I've been through so many pitfalls about what I'm supposed to be doing, how I'm supposed to create success, and and it's never felt better as being, it almost makes me emotional. It's never felt better as being connected to myself and rooted in myself, my vision, my mission, my systems, and myself. And so we're not going to have all the answers for you, but what we are going to do is we are going to root you and connect you and show you how to reorient anytime you need to ground in yourself, so that you can take this forward, right? We're not going to figure out all your life's answers, but we're going to lean into your next edge. And we're going to give you all the tools to really learn how to root into yourself, so that when you leave this container, you know how to do it. So shoot me a DM if you want in. Shoot me a DM if you're ready. Let's get you rooted in the first part of the year, and it will probably carry with you throughout the year. Let me know. Share this. I'll put your name in a hat. If you share it, tag me though, because I will not be running around the internet trying to figure this out. Tag me, make sure you tag me, and I'll put your name in and I will draw someone. And I'm super excited. Again, we start January 18th. If you want the details, all the details, shoot me a message. I'll send you the little landing page thing that I have. This was kind of on a whim. I got really, really inspired to share it and create it and do it. And so I don't have all the bells and whistles, but it's going to be a powerful container. I'm devoted to you, and I'm rooted in with me, and I want the same for you. So shoot me a DM and share this video. Even if you don't want to enter the container, share this video if you think it would help somebody, or if you think it would help your audience. Let's get people really grounded in themselves moving into this year. We had a really intense year last year. All right, guys. I love you a ton. I didn't read some of these, but, Nikki, I love you. Oh, Alice, thanks so much for sharing it. Yes, self is totally key to our success. Oh, Claire, I love you. Awesome. I love you guys. Root in, anchor in. You've got this. I believe that. I'll talk to you soon.